and smoke and flame. Teacher in a class calling every kid by name. And don't forget the hands that clean, the ones who work behind the scene. Trash gets picked, lights stay on, because of folks that just push on. Salute to service, hear the stories unfold of heroes young and the brave and bold. From chalkboard lines to the engine's roar, to the garbage truck and the grocery store. American born with hearts ablaze, fist in the air as the eagle sways. They don't wear capes but they save the day. So we salute to service the American way.
Back to salute to service. We're back again. I know it's been a little off lately, but I've had a few things going on the past couple weeks. I think he has too, so it's been kind of hard for us to get together at the same time. But here we are, finally, Boogie. We're back again.
Yep. What's up, everybody? Welcome.
So I want to start this one off, just as a little PSA to everybody. It is June, and we all know as of June 1st, for those of us on the East Coast and down along the coast of the Gulf of Mexico, what starts on June 1st, and that is hurricane season. So, yeah, Boogie, you're not anywhere that deals with hurricanes, are you?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, so, just so everybody knows, hurricane season did start June 1st. It goes until November 30th, so, if you live on the coast of the Gulf, or you are on the eastern seaboard of the United States, start being prepared. I don't think there's anything out right there right now I haven't heard. I know there was one they were watching down towards Mexico, far down in the Gulf, but hasn't come of anything yet. So, yeah, just a little PSA. Everybody get prepared, because it's coming. All right, Boogie. Do you have anything you wanna go with?
I know the last time we had our special, because of Memorial Day stuff going, so we still appreciate everybody there. School's letting out a lot of states now, so a lot of kids are gonna be home now and that. So that's gonna give some teachers some well-needed rest from teaching, if they're not teaching summer school, that is. So it seems like summer is officially beginning.
That it has. I can speak for that in person. It has begun. We got out Friday, actually, was our last day here. So, and I know a lot of the counties around us have been out for almost 2 weeks. We, for some reason, got out a little late, so I have no clue why. But yeah.
So
School is out. Teachers, I think, as of next Friday, I know all our teachers will finally be on summer vacation, and I think most of them are looking forward to it.
We're getting every other word you're saying, bud.
Mike's wanting to break up. May I switch over to my other one if it keeps going?
Yeah, it's still gargly sound.
Well,
So
let's do this then.
So look at the National Hurricane Center and Central Pacific Hurricane Center. Their website says the tropical cyclone activity is not expected during this next 7 days. So it means there's going to be nothing expected right now. which is nice.
Yeah, that's really good. That we ain't got nothing out there.
And this was updated today at 3:45 UTC time.
What is UTC?
I don't know. Not my time zone. So the time was 4:03, so not too long ago, 7 minutes ago. That it was updated, which is nice. You there? All right. So what's next you would like to talk about, or should we go to our normal national fire news? All right. I haven't heard anything in Wisconsin, but I have could be some other stuff here. So as of May 14th, I don't see anything. So there's 7 number of large fires under full suppressions. There are no new numbers, and only all active fires have. So yeah, they're basically out. They're under full suppression. Minnesota. Whoa. There we go. Arizona, no new. They're contained. So yeah. So right now there is no new fires going on right now. So, but we did pass last year's record of acreage. No, we didn't. Never mind. Some reason I had a little brain fart, but no, it doesn't look like we're gonna break it either with the grass fires, because it's getting to the point where they won't be happening no more. Too much grass is turning green and all that, unless we have a major dry belt going on. But yeah, so fires contain 1 says, but going to list here, no, none of them's new. In Arizona, 47% contained. California, they have 1, which is 94% contained, so it's almost out. Florida, 8% contained. Minnesota, 53, so it's and 94 in their other one. Superior National Forest. Montana, it's 40% contained. And New Mexico, 95, so that's almost basically out too. So yeah, our normal grass fires is going to be shorting up the season for that, unless we get a major dry spout. But I don't see any major fires starting up anytime soon with that.
No, not with, you know, like you said, all the grass starting to turn green and everything's starting to grow back. So that's gonna put a halt to a bunch of them.
Yep. And I know here in Wisconsin, it's like today, it's been raining all day so far, so it's gonna be a little too wet.
So it's yeah, it's quite wet. Nothing's gonna spark up around here. So I have an interesting one from Raleigh. It's quite funny actually. There was a library that had I guess you could call it a teenage hawk.
Hey, Tater, we can barely hear you in stream, bud.
How about now?
There's a bigger delay. Hey, Tater, we can barely hear you in stream, bud. Can hear you, but it's still low. There's a bigger delay.
That one's low, and this one wants to break up.
Now breaking up right now with it.
All right, let's try this one again. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, anyway, a teenage hawk flew through the doors of a library around 10 a.m. Let me pull it up real quick. So in Raleigh, actually Mooresville, a red-tailed hawk swooped through the front door of a Mooresville public library Monday morning, startling readers, drawing both the police and fire departments, and setting off a series of bird-related puns. The raptor, not yet fully grown, passed through the library's electronic doors at 10 a.m. just as toddler story time was wrapping up. Once inside, the hawk flew to a perch atop a set of 15-foot windows. She called the fire department, which brought a 15-foot ladder and sent a brave rescuer climbing. They located this guy in the 598 section of nonfiction, joked Dusty Broadway on Twitter. So yeah, a red-tailed hawk got into a library in Mooresville, and the fire department and police department had to go rescue it. Just goes to show they deal with more than just what you see on TV and on the internet. Thought that one was pretty interesting. And that happened on Monday in Mooresville. I did not know the gloves they give you in the fire service could actually take, the talons and the bite of a red tail, but apparently this firefighter ain't having any issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was something I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, that just goes to show that they deal with more than what you think they do. If I could have found one about a cat in a tree, I would have done that one, but I couldn't find one about a cat in a tree.
So, all right. So, I don't know if you have heard. It's a tragic story, Tater, that happened not too long ago in Washington.
No, I didn't. No, I hadn't heard that one.
So, a missed drop-off and tragedy at a campground. How a manhunt for a father accused of killing his daughter is unfolding. See, this guy picked up his daughters on the I can't remember what day they said. It was just happened not too long ago. I heard it while I was gone this weekend. That he picked up his daughters. He was only supposed to have them for a scheduled custody visit on the 30th of May, the Friday before this discovery. So they end up finding his three daughters at a campground in Washington, and all suffocated with bags over their heads and all that. So they're still searching for this man too, because he is missing. Because when past time, the mom got scared. The mother appeared to have been crying when she arrived at the police station. Police said telling them Decker has never failed to return the kids and typically let her know when they are running late, according to a police affidavit filed in the Supreme Court. When he told police that he had a good relationship with his daughters and they enjoyed their time together, she believed he was experiencing mental health issues, according to an affidavit. So yeah, he's former military experience too, so they believe he's using that to evade in his search right now. But it's a lot.
My question is, what would make somebody do something like that? What's got to be going through your head?
Yep. And if he was having issues with PTSD or something, it seemed like he had a plan that was working. So something in his head must have triggered that's not good. But here's another video we can watch on this little news.
A major development overnight in the search for the Washington father accused of killing his three young girls. Now his ex-wife is speaking out. Here's ABC's Johnny Fernandez.
Overnight, investigators tracking new leads in the search for the father accused of murdering his three young daughters near a Washington state campground. Authorities now say Travis Decker, known to have wilderness survivor skills, may be traveling along the Pacific Crest Trail. One area now closed to visitors as police urge residents to keep their doors and windows locked. Decker's daughters, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, just 9, 8, and 5 years old, were supposed to return home last week from a court-approved visit with their father. But on Monday, their bodies were found in a wooded area in Leavenworth. Police say it appears they were suffocated.
Travis was never violent with the girls. He had some mental health issues.
Decker's ex-wife, through her attorney, now speaking out, saying Decker struggled with PTSD after serving in Afghanistan and had reached out to the VA for help.
She feels like the system really let Travis down. She still to this day has a lot of love and empathy for Travis and who he is in his core, because he was a very loving man, but something broke. And whatever monster came out of him, it's something that he was trained to do in the military. And our government really should provide those resources.
Decker's ex-wife is also pushing for changes to the Amber Alert system. Police say that this case did not meet the criteria because there was no evidence of an abduction.
So if there was no area criteria for abduction, which he was supposed to have the kids back by a court order in that, then how does that not meet the criteria for an Amber Alert? Yeah, but mental The thing is, you had thought after Chris Kyle that might have pushed that a little faster, but it shows it must have not pushed it more fast enough because of this tragic happening.
They don't push anything through fast. They're slow about everything. It's not just
It-
this, which is it's it's sad and it's a tragedy that something like that would happen. And to think that if he had of somebody would have gotten back to him sooner, and he had somebody to talk to that maybe could have stopped what happened. Because I
Or
don't,
what snapped in his mind.
yeah, or I mean, because it's hard to think, of any parent, especially a military parent, killing their kids. I mean, it said it in the video. His ex-wife, even said that he was a loving father and all that. So something,
Yeah, and she still
something
supported
snapped.
him in ways, even though they weren't married. She still was going to have him in their lives. He was a supporting father. They sound like he had a good relationship with the kids. Something just had a snap. So it's kind of sad to see stuff like that happen, and shows that we failed our military again on getting the help they need after what they do.
Yeah, the VA really needs to step it up in that regard, especially with, like we said, people with mental disabilities and PTSD and stuff like that. They need to do something.
Yep.
Don't know why the hospital would be closed. Let's see. It says a Delaware County woman is recounting the terrifying moment after her baby experienced a medical emergency outside the closed. I'm not going to say the name of the medical center. Outside the closed medical center, the incident occurred on May 15th, just as a news conference hosted by Pennsylvania governor was concluding outside the hospital. The baby's aunt said she was driving to Hobby Lobby with a 5-month-old in the back seat when she realized something was wrong. She quickly pulled over beside a group of paramedics and police officers who had been attending the news conference. When the officer took the baby from her, she was weak at that point, is what it says. I'm not sure. I guess they're talking about her pulse. The police officer patted her aggressively twice on the back. She let out a noise that was like a breath of fresh air. The lady said it was like a breath of fresh air for her. Paramedics transported her to a nearby medical center in Wilmington, approximately 20 minutes away from where she was at. It doesn't say what was wrong or what caused the issue. It just apparently the child had quit breathing in the back seat and had went limp. And thanks to the quick thinking of the aunt and as well as the paramedics and police officers, the baby is going to make a full recovery and should be fine.
That's awesome.
I'd love to know why that medical center was closed, though.
Maybe they had major issues with something that they couldn't have it open to help anybody. But how was it? I don't know.
I'm gonna do a little research into that while we keep going.
All right. So no, that's not what I wanted. Why did it do that? All right. I'm gonna move to our firefighter fatalities in the United States. So our total of firefighters have gone up again. We're up to a total of 36 firefighters that have lost their lives in the United States, and one was just 3 days ago. Mr. Jake Bridges from the Hickory Fire Department, Hickory, North Carolina. His date of death was June 5th. Approximately at 9:49 a.m. on June 5th, Hickory Fire Department firefighters include firefighter Jake Bridges were dispatched to a structure fire. The fire was extinguished and firefighters cleared the scene at approximately 4:52 a.m. After returning to the station, firefighters worked to get the truck back in service at approximately 5:08 a.m. Firefighter Bridges experienced a medical emergency and was transported to a local hospital. Despite resuscitation efforts of his fellow firefighters, first responders, and medical personnel, Firefighter Bridges passed away. Fortunately, it's sad to say he was only 20 years of age at a very young age. Just a few years out of school. He was a career firefighter. What a shame. So it's sad that it happens. 36 in 2025 so far. And pray to God that we don't lose any more. Best we can do. But try to keep Bridges' family and everybody's thoughts and prayers as they go through this rough time.
100%. So that medical center actually closed down on May 2nd, and it put a total of 2,651 people out of a job. There was actually 2 hospitals that were shut down. And between the two, a total of 2,651 employees were laid off.
So did somebody just abandon the baby there because they didn't want the baby, maybe?
No, the aunt was going to Hobby Lobby and had the
Oh.
baby in the back seat, and looked in the back seat and noticed that there was something wrong. The baby, I guess, wasn't moving or breathing, and happened to be right next to, right next to the hospital where they were having a press conference, and there was some paramedics and police officers outside that had been there for the press conference, and she stopped, and then they treated the child and transported it to a hospital about 20 minutes away.
Damn. I said when you have a hospital that's there, well, used to be there, and now you got to transport 20 minutes away just to get to an actual hospital for treatment, especially for that, because I know where I live, we used to have a hospital, and it was a big uproar when the city decided to not help keep the property tax down because they were only charging a penny a year, but then they decided not to do that no more, I guess, or the hospital decided, oh, we don't want to be open no more. I can't remember it. I was still in middle school when it happened, but now it's just a building that sits there vacant, and we gotta travel about 25 to 30 minutes away to get to an actual hospital.
Yeah, it doesn't give a reason why. It just says more than a month after the health system collapsed. So there's apparently something going on within those two particular hospitals that caused them to collapse.
Maybe something that the owner of the hospital financially didn't have money and they just fell apart, and the end was that. We may never know.
Let's see, Tallest Leprechaun, yeah, that's very sad to hear stories like that. And like she said, his core was a great person, and that shows people just need help.
Yep.
Yep, that's very true. There's a lot of people out there that need help that never get it, and it's sad and tragic. But unfortunately, that's the cruel reality in most cases. Somebody needs help, and then there's nobody there to help them, and then something like this happens.
Yep.
Which is why I think we need a big revamp on a lot of different things when it comes to not only the VA but a lot of other places as well.
Yep. So now moving on to our law enforcement, this number has also gone up, and that they're up to 31 total line of deaths in police officers. They also had a recent one not too long ago. It happened in Illinois. Ooh, I did not push that button. On June 5th, same day. Her was from cause of death was gunfire. They were responding to a possible man with a gun. They started trying to talk to him. He started running away. As they entered a residential building, there was another man with a gun. Opened fire. She was hit. So was another officer. On her, they put her in another squad car to get her to the hospital. On their way to the hospital, they end up getting in a car accident. So they took her out of that and caught fire. The car caught fire. They got her out, got her in our car, and when shortly after getting to the hospital, she was declared deceased. For the other police officer that was shot, he was only shot in the wrist, so he'll be fine. And the assailant, they do have him in custody, so he can have justice served on him for what he did. But I did learn something new looking this up, make sure I had everything ready. Total canine line of deaths is 10. That is just a separate number from the actual number up top. So it's 31 officers itself in human and 10 dog officers itself. So, and our still latest one was May 29th. Was it inadvertent gunfire? I don't want. Was it by? And what does that mean? For some reason, I'm not getting what that means.
Basically accidental.
Dang, yeah. Canine Rebel. So besides Bridges, what's kept Rivera's family in your thoughts and prayers as they are going through this rough times with losing a loved one while on duty? It's a shame that that's going up to 31.
So our LEO and fire are very close in total line of duty deaths for 2025.
Yeah. Very close. Climbing.
Well, let's hope that slows and it quits climbing. And
unfortunately, we can't do our military one because some reason that link is no longer working.
Oops, I forgot I can't click on anything else while I'm doing that, or else it pauses the stream. Anthony Gamble, a public information officer for Sacramento Police, said officers first got a call at 10:15 a.m. from a woman who had wanted to retrieve her items from a home on Farmdale Way. She was worried that a domestic abuser might be there. Officers had responded to that area last weekend for domestic violence report, but the suspect, a parolee at large with a warrant for his arrest, had fled prior to their arrival. During the investigation, officers developed probable cause to believe that the suspect committed felony domestic violence. They have since identified him as Daniel Cunningham, 33. On Saturday, police found the man in a vehicle that led to a high-speed chase westbound on Florin Road until the suspect's vehicle collided with multiple vehicles. Police later said in a release that the pursuit was brief and the officers had lost sight of the suspect's vehicle until the crash. After the crash, the suspect tried to flee on foot but was detained with the help of a police canine and then taken to a hospital as a precaution. Our officers had the obligation to bring this person to justice. He made the decision to run. He made the decision to run. He made the decision to drive at a high rate of speed. He put himself and everybody else's lives in danger by his actions, and he caused this collision that took the life of somebody who was not involved in this whatsoever. Police did not have specifics on how many other people may have been injured in the crash or whether any of them are children. They called CHP to investigate the collision portion. So yeah, an innocent bystander killed due to the negligence of somebody else. Although the police were, involved in this situation, there's not a whole lot that they can do other than, what they done. When somebody runs like that. So it doesn't give the victim's name, which I wouldn't have read his name either way, but it doesn't give his name in here. But let's keep that family in our prayers as well. Don't run from the cops, guys. It doesn't just do harm to yourself, but as this shows, it can do harm to other people and or their families at the same time. If they get behind you, just stop. Don't run. It's not going to end well for anybody, you or them, and as that shows for innocent civilians around you too. So just make it easy. Don't put yourself or anybody else in danger, and stop. So as hurricane season, as hurricane season ramps up, let's also keep in mind and in our prayers our National Guard men and women, because with hurricane season, they're inevitably going to get activated at some point, as long as our fire, police, EMS, all those people that are out there in it. Just because we're all at home hunkered down doesn't mean they are. They're out in it trying to help people and keep everybody safe. So let's keep them in our prayers as well. You got another one pulled up, Boogie? We can't hear you, Boogie.
Oh, sorry, my bad. No, I do not.
All right. Well, this was. Let's see here if I can find. So I just found an interesting one. It says attacking law enforcement should not be tolerated. Um, Whoa, President Trump just got loud. So w- my question is, they say attacking law enforcement should not be tolerated. That's in my mind, attacking law enforcement isn't tolerated in any fashion. I mean, ain't that the way you see it, Boogie?
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't elaborate. Okay. It just says law attacking law enforcement should not be tolerated. Communications professionals say. Um, I wouldn't think that that was tolerated in the first place, and I agree it shouldn't be tolerated um, in no way, shape, form, or fashion. Just as attacking any public service um, worker shouldn't be tolerated. Let's see, I'm going to pull up this one about the National Guard since we're going to try to cover a little bit of everybody. So this one deals with National Guard. Let's see, let me share that so everybody can see it. So National Guard troops arrive in Los Angeles as immigration enforcement tensions escalate. No, guys, we are not getting political here. By no way, shape, form, or fashion are we going to get political. I'm just trying to show everybody what our troops are dealing with, and frankly, all our public service workers are dealing with. National Guard troops arrived in downtown Los Angeles on Sunday morning following a couple days marked by violent clashes between law enforcement officers and protests over President Trump's immigration enforcement operations conducted in the area. Protesters clashed with soldiers on Sunday afternoon after a crowd gathered near the Metropolitan Detention Center downtown. I did it again. Let's see. National Guard using what appeared to be tear gas and firing non-lethal rounds towards some groups of demonstrators. Large-scale protests have sprouted throughout LA County, including in the Westlake District, downtown LA, and Paramount, and have escalated to violence on several occasions. A federal law enforcement official tells CBS News that multiple federal law enforcement officers were injured during confrontations with protesters on Friday and Saturday. The amount of total arrests made is not yet clear, but a senior official in LA told CBS News that at least 29 protesters were arrested Friday night. Trump announced Saturday night that he'd deploy the Guard in response to massive protest. Trump called the events in LA 2 days of violence, clashes, and unrest. These radical left protests by investigators. I don't. By investigators are often paid troublemakers. Will not be tolerated. President Trump added that masks will no longer be allowed to be worn at protests, although he did not specify how or if this would be enforced. As you can see, our National Guard people at their best. So yeah, apparently Los Angeles is having issues with protesters amidst the immigration, I guess reform is what you'd call it, that President Trump has issued. The federal government is taking over the California National Guard and deploying 2,000 soldiers in Los Angeles. Not because there's a shortage of law enforcement, but because they want a spectacle. But because they want a spectacle, he said in another post. Don't give them one. I'm guessing the protesters want a spectacle, and the federal government is refusing to give it to them. Yeah, and the rest of this just gets real political, and we don't want to do that, so. But our National Guard troops have been deployed to Los Angeles, as it said, 2,000 of them, to help law enforcement with the protests that are going on in Los Angeles. And that's really all that's there as far as the National Guard news. We've covered the police, we've covered fire. We've done the schools.
Well, I have nothing.
All right, well, guys, we are
Good.
going. Do what? We are going to call it there.
Hold on, Tallahassee. Nowadays, everything is coming with a warning, so I guess that applies to not attacking law enforcement, even though they should already be understood. Yeah.
Yep, that was my thought on it. That should be a written, an understood rule. You don't attack law enforcement, but I guess not. I guess it had to be said. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to open it up to our audience. If they have anything they want to bring up or anything they want us to talk about, we will take those. Or if anybody wants to join us for a minute and you have a topic you want to talk about or bring up, feel free. We'll give everybody a minute to do that if they would like. So, Boogie, what you been up to, buddy?
I've been up to a lot of working late nights, so it's come home early in the morning, go to sleep, try to get up again for work. Got a 3-day weekend. Was supposed to get my wife's grandma and her significant other come up, but they end up having elbow too. So me, her, and her dad went camping. We got home today, so it was a fun night. Yeah, but fortunately for next week's episode, I will not be able to be here because I have to work Saturday night.
Oh, lovely.
Because they had too many people request off, so I got scheduled to work. So
The lovely life of working in the
restaurant
business.
Yep.
Been there, done that. It's it's not fun, especially having to work weekends.
I normally will have off when they need shortage of because people needing off or something, and being Father's Day weekend. A lot of people want to be off because they're a father, so I guess put in on Saturday. So
And happy early Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
yep, a week early.
Yep, a week early, and we'll wish you another one next week.
Oh.
Tall ass leprechaun, just want to say, love hearing all the updates on not one but all first responders, and appreciate the guests that are invited on. Can't wait to see how this podcast will continue to grow. Well, I had a guest that I was going to get lined up for next week, but I am going to postpone that because I am not going to bring that guest on without Boogie. That's one that I want Boogie and me both here for. I don't think it's right to have that guest on without Boogie here. So not next weekend, but the following weekend, if the schedules line up, we are going to have a very special guest, somebody that's been in the fire service for 30 plus years. So can't wait for that one.
Awesome.
And if since Boogie's not going to be here next week, if anybody wants to join me next week, if you are prior service or in public service and you want to join me next week, DM me in Discord and we'll get it set up. And to the squad members out there, if any of y'all want to join me next week, feel free to message me and we'll see if we can't get it set up. You're gonna be hard pressed to be the co-host Boogie is, but we'll work around it.
Yep.
Well, Boogie, it was good to be back finally with both of us here. I know this has been a short episode, hasn't been what Salute to Service normally is, but this was kind of a last minute thing that was thrown together. But it was good to be back. Good to have us both back again at the same time.
Yep. I got us a prayer if you like me to do.
For sure. What prayer is this?
This is a prayer for all those teachers, even though they are done. A lot of them are starting to get done for the school year of 2024. Now getting ready for 2025 this summer while they enjoy their lovely time off. If they're not doing summer school. But, alright. Almighty God, we come to you today and give thanks for all of our teachers. Thank you for the way in which they give of themselves each day in the classroom, serving and instructing the next generation of this land. We thank you for them all now. Father, please fill their hearts with courage now by your mighty Spirit. Fill them with your strength so they may rise to every challenge and not grow weary. Fill them with your wisdom so they may be able to make good judgment when guiding and helping others. Fill them with your peace so that when stress and anxiety comes, it would not overwhelm them. Fill them with your joy so that the passion they have for their subjects may become an infectious passion that spreads. We all thank them in the wonderful name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. And as always, when we end, we want to send a shout out and a thank you to all of our military men and women, all of our first responders, all of our public service workers, whether you be a teacher or any other form of public service, firefighters, nurses, EMS, dispatch, corrections. A lot of them are listed behind me and Boogie both. And if I don't call you out, I apologize, but we thank you for what you do. Thank you for all your hard work. And Boogie, thank you for joining me.
Yep.
And we look forward to seeing where this goes, to seeing this podcast grow. And thank you to our viewers. Thank you to those of you who have commented, asked questions. We thank y'all. Without y'all, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you to Squad Productions and the Squad Production team for allowing us to have our podcast on their platform. And we will see y'all next week. Hopefully Boogie can find a way to join us for a short period of time next week. But we will see y'all We will see y'all next week. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Peace.
Lights on camera burning bright. Another wild ride starts tonight. BB's calling out the play with Hunter laughing all the way. Amy's got that crazy spark. Boogie bringing truth in the dark. Taters talking from the porch again. Decoys theories never end. Timmy, Jess, Nick and Ty kicking doors and reaching high. Welcome to the squad. We don't